Welcome back to, I think it's episode 6 of the Ten8 podcast brought to you by RainBet. What's going on, Alex?
Not much, man. I apologize for missing last week because I was in Salt Lake City with the good old PFL, the co-leader of all mixed martial arts.
Yeah, no, that's not a good excuse. You really let us down. Wasn't
I
even a
sure,
real fight organization.
yeah, I kind of fucked up, but I made up for being here because we are in the thick of International Fight Week, and it's a goddamn huge week. Well, let me take that back. It would have been a gigantic, huge week, but now it's just kind of like like it's a good pay per view. It's an okay international fight week. You know, obviously we lost Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler,
But
which
we gained Anthony Smith.
I mean, if you ask me, that might be a good replacement.
Oh, I'm so depressed. Dude, when they announced that fight, the ticket value went, I'm not exaggerating, down 80%. Like they replaced it with all these other fights, but people just heard the name Anthony Smith and were like, yeah. And everybody just, yeah, ticket value decreased so big from that.
Yeah, so now we got Alex Pereira versus Yuri Prohashka, which I mean, to be honest, I can watch them fight every 5 days and I'd be okay. And then the co-main event, Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez, I think that's going to be probably fight of the night. I think it's going to be chaos for as long as it lasts.
Yeah, I'm excited for the whole thing. I mean, to be honest, so I have a bucket list of fighters I wanted to see live, and I posted on Twitter the other day. My top 5 was Conor McGregor. I've already done that twice. Sean O'Malley, saw him do that. He fought that bum that what was that guy with green hair he fought? Chris Moutinho, yeah. Saw that happen. Leon Edwards, he's one of my favorites. Got to see him fight twice. Um, who am I missing now? This is my list. I don't know why I don't know the rest of them. But anyway, Alex Pereira was the only one on my list. Robert Whitaker. Robert Whitaker. I saw him fight already too. So I just had Alex Pereira. So this kind of, I paid like $8,000 for this, but yeah, I could have just paid like $800 for it. So it sucks, but I'm getting the last guy. My bucket list out of the way. It's freaking Pereira. I got my tickets right next to the walkout entrance, and I've been practicing his arrow thing. And if you see me in the background, I'm gonna be doing pretty enthusiastically.
Were you happy to see Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree?
Yeah. I was super excited for that. I mean, so where do we start at there? Where are we even at? So we start with Jamal Hill and Khalil Roundtree, and somehow that the MMA gods have turned that into Anthony Smith and Roman Dolidze. Like we went from, so let's see if I can even remember this. This is all happened the past 2 weeks. We went from Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree to Jamal Hill versus Carlos Ulberg, and then Jamal Hill realized that Alex Pereira was gonna be in the car. And was like, "I'll screw that. I can't see him again." So he pulled out of due to fear. And then we went to Carlos Ulberg versus Khalil Roundtree. Was that the fight?
Carlos Ulberg versus Anthony Smith.
I went straight there. Okay. Wow. Yeah. And now we're at Anthony Smith versus Roman Dolidze. What a freaking downgrade. Like, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. Like, I don't know. We still have 2 days left. We might end up getting Anthony Smith versus Ryan Spann 3.
I mean that trilogy is it's it has been requested, you know.
Yeah. We want to see it. Yeah. No.
How do you see Anthony Smith versus Roman Dolidze playing out?
I think it's kind of interesting. Um, I think Anthony Smith is actually a dog right now, according to RainBet. And I actually am going to go against the grain here and disagree with that. Roman Dolidze is a middleweight coming in up a weight class on short notice, and a guy who already has pretty bad stamina issues. He did go 5 rounds in his last one, but still, he didn't look good after the 15 minutes. So I think Anthony Smith is like he's not a very good fighter, but one thing he is, he's durable and he does have a gas tank. So if you give me this fight with a full training camp, I'd probably lean Roman with this short notice and gas tank. I just can't trust that.
I think if you give Roman Dolidze 2 training camps, I don't think he beats Anthony Smith. While Anthony Smith is obviously on the latter half of his career, he really proved everyone wrong. Shut people up when he went out there and just demolished Vitor Petrino. I mean, didn't even demolish him; he just choked him out in 2 minutes, right? And when everybody thought Vitor Petrino was going to be the one to retire Anthony Smith and send him to retirement, and he shut everybody up and tapped him out. So I don't know if Anthony Smith is going to finish Roman Dolidze. It's probably going to be like a, I don't know, like a sloppy, fun decision, but I am picking Anthony Smith.
I agree. I think we are gonna do that. Most people don't pick Anthony Smith, so that's a rarity there.
Yeah, bro. I mean, come on. I mean, Anthony Smith can be a meme at some point, but he's still he's proved time and time again, like unless you're the elite of the division, he'll beat you. And I don't think Roman Dolidze is elite. So
Elite's a kind word. I mean, I think Ryan Spann probably beat him in the second fight. You know, it's you can't be completely terrible and beat Anthony Smith.
fine, I'll agree with you on that. Ian Gary versus MVP. It's very interesting. I I have a feeling this fight's going to be very boring because of their styles, and I think they're just going to look at each other for a lot of the fight, and that kind of sucks. But if Ian Gary decides to, abandon his game plan and try and prove a point to outstrike MVP, I do think MVP can check his chin and knock him out. But I think Ian Gary is too smart of a fighter, and obviously I think he's the more well-rounded fighter, and I see him winning kind of like a boring decision. What about you?
Yeah, that kind of seems to be what everybody thinks on Twitter. I disagree. Everybody keeps saying that it's going to be probably a Ian Gary split decision or something like that. Ian Gary, this last training camp was at a Shudo Box. You know, that's where freaking guys like Shogun come from and Vanderlei Silva, Charles DuBronx. So I kind of think we're going to see a lot of brawls and a lot of crazy exchanges. And I actually think in those exchanges, MVP is going to catch him. He is so good at setting stuff up where you like that elbow he on Kevin Holland. He hit that because you're not supposed to be able to land that. It was so unexpected. And I think he's going to hit Ian Gay or something crazy and probably drop him. Uh, yeah, I actually think MVP is probably going to finish Ian Gary.
Interesting. Well, Ian Gary trained at Shooter Box last training camp, and his fight against Jeff Neal was not the funnest fight to watch. So hopefully he has fully invested in the Shooter Box. Maybe Charles Oliveira has you know give him some of his magic to make him kind of a crazy fighter, but I highly doubt that. So you got MVP, I got Gary. Can you? So I would love to know. You bought tickets to see Conor McGregor. I'm assuming you're going to the fights. Can you tell me what happened?
Okay, so I want to give a PSA right now, guys. Never, ever, ever buy your tickets from SeatGeek. They are the worst human beings alive. So I'm on the phone with some poor lady and I am giving her my wrath. I'm sitting there and they're like, hey, I bought these tickets for Conor McGregor. The fight's canceled. I was like, I need a refund. They're like, oh, we can't refund because the venue is still putting on an event. I'm like, yeah, but they're putting on with somebody that's has the name value that's a tenth of McGregor's. I was like, the tickets have already went down. The same section price my tickets went from like $6,600 to like I think like 4,200 for I forgot how many tickets I was buying, but yeah. So basically, and they're like, well, yeah, but we're not going to give you a refund because you have the ability to resell them. I was like, you're not understanding me. The tickets are like so much cheaper now. And she said, well, unfortunately, since the venue's still putting an event on, we have to do that. I said, all right, so hold up. You're telling me that if a little 12-year-old girl gets Taylor Swift tickets that cost like $2,000 for her birthday and she gets sick, the venue can just be like, oh, yeah, but don't worry. We have 50 Cent coming. Like, no, that's bullshit. No, I paid for something like very specific. This isn't a prelim scratch. Anyway, I'm going on a rant here, but yeah, that was really frustrating. So basically, what I ended up having to do was I worked out a deal with SeatGeek where they gave me a voucher refund, and basically, I took the money they did, and to get my money's worth, I'm now bringing 2 extra people with me, and in the same section. So I basically got 2 extra tickets. That's what I had to do.
So you paid full price for Alex Pereira versus Yuri Prochazka too.
Well, yeah, like I said, so I had 5 tickets originally, or no, I had 3 tickets originally for that 6,600, and they gave me that $6,600 back. They're like, "Yeah, you got to spend it all at once." So now I'm just bringing 2 extra people with me.
Okay, okay. I
It is
mean,
what it is.
yeah.
Now my dad and brother get to see that. You know what's crazy? My dad texted me like probably a month ago. He's like, I never really been to a UFC fight. I'm not really into him, but I really like to watch the Alex Pereira guy fight live. So that's why I was like, screw it. Let's make the best of this shitty situation.
Well, you might be a bad friend to Nico Price, but you're a good son,
I am a good son.
which makes it all which kind of evens it out, you know.
Yes, yes. I am a good son. My dad's very lucky to have me, and I'm the favorite child now.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Diego Lopez versus Brian Ortega, man. I think this fight's going to be very fun. What are your thoughts on it, man?
Man, I cannot believe Brian Ortega is an underdog here. You're talking about number 14 and number 3, Diego Lopez. He's awesome, but it's like, what did DC say about Jimmy Manua? Like, I like you, Jimmy, but you just beat Corey Anderson. That's how I feel about Diego. It's like, hey, you beat Sodiq. And then Sodiq's not bad, but I don't know if that makes you a favorite over Brian Ortega. I think it's kind of crazy. Ortega's way more proven and has fought way more elite competition. I'm taking Brian Ortega by subbing this.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same wavelength as you, man. I'm kind of shocked that Brian Ortega's the underdog, especially what he did to Yair, which is very it's a great win, man. It's going to age you very well. Diego Lopez he's a savage, and he's been on a rocket ship ever since his UFC debut that he lost. But the promotion loves him. Dana White loves him,
I
and
love him, to be clear. He's very freaking cool.
right, no, 1,000%. I think if you like MMA, you should like Diego Lopez because he's exciting, man. He goes for finishes. He puts himself in danger. He's only been to decision 2 times, and he's finished 22 people. So, I mean, you look at those stats; it's pretty legit. Although Gavin Tucker, Pat Sabatini, Sadiq Yusuf, they're not even close to Brian Ortega. Now, the question is Brian Ortega? He's taken a lot of damage, um, and in that first round, he takes a fuck ton of damage. And Diego Lopez's striking has gotten a lot better since even his Contender Series fight. I mean, it's improving. So I hope to God we don't get 3 rounds of a kickboxing match, but I do think Diego Lopez is going to hurt Brian Ortega in the first round. But I think Brian Ortega is going to do Brian Ortega things. He's going to survive, get to round 2, fall into something. I don't know if he's gonna get cracked and he's gonna fall down. Diego Lopez is gonna fall into the ground, or they're on the cage and they slip into something. And I do think Brian Ortega is gonna finish.
Yeah, I think we'll see most likely submission here. What it came down to me when I was studying this fight is there's nothing to convince me right now that Diego Lopez is a better striker than Yair Rodriguez, and I really don't think he's better grappler than Brian Ortega. He might catch him on the feet and hurt him, but we've never really seen Ortega get put out. We've seen him take damage, like you said, but I mean, he's always fought through it and been okay. So I think that he might get hit on the feet. Diego might chase him down, but at the end of the day, I think Ortega is gonna definitely win rounds 2 and 3. Diego he's a firecracker. He might come out there and kind of Ortega doesn't always have great starts, so we could see him lose that first round. But I'm very confident if this does go to the decision, it'll be 29-28 Ortega.
Yeah, I mean, the only person to ever finish him is Max Holloway, um, and that was a doctor stoppage. So
Yeah.
he's never been put out. He's fought power punchers. He's fought dangerous submission artists. I mean, he fought Volkanovski, and Volkanovski beat the shit out of him, and he still kept going.
Remember that
Got
fight with Max Holloway when Herb Dean like just asked him? He's like, "How many figures are holding up?" He looks him straight in the eye. And goes, "What?" Like he has no idea what he's saying. He's like, How many figures?" He shows him. He shows him. He's like, "4." He has 3 fingers up, and he goes, "No." He was like, "Oh, three." Herb's like, "Yeah, you're good to go."
that was the good old Volkanovski fight.
Oh, Volkanovski, that's what it was.
Yeah, man. So I just think Brian Ortega, he's got that dog in him, man. And unless you put him out clean, which we haven't seen, and unless I mean he's only lost to injuries. That's it, which is pretty insane to say. So yeah, I'm on the Brian Ortega T City train. Main event time: Alex Pereira versus Yuri Prohaska 2. I've been flip flopping for the last 2 weeks. One day I think Alex is going to win. Another day I think Yuri's going to win. I'm flip flopping in my head as we talk about this. So please give me your thoughts and kind of try and convince me what's going on.
So watching that Rockets fight, something that I don't think a lot of people overlooked it, just something that I feel like got pushed back a little bit was Alex Pereira killed Jiri's legs. Like within the first, I don't know, 17 seconds, he had both of them. He was switching stances and like limping on both of them. Like Alex landed 4 leg kicks in the first 20 seconds and he was done. And oops. And then you go to this next fight um, with the Rockets, and Rockets does the same thing. Like I don't know how that wasn't a huge point of emphasis because we knew Rockets was going to do it too. And if I just don't know at this point, it's something he can fix. And we've seen Alex do it. It starts with the legs. He damages that. Then he's going to start teeing off on the head. Now, I don't know. I'm thinking there's no way he can go through a parade training camp, a Rockets training camp, and again a parade training camp, which short notice, whatever, and not fix this issue of getting your legs freaking beat up in the first whatever. With that being said, I'm a massive Alex fan, and I've had too much emotional stuff go on with McGregor pulling out, and now my wife cheating on me. That didn't actually happen, but now I've had like a lot of just. I've made a decision this fight. I'm hedging my happiness with money, right? So I'm max betting Jiri Prochazka, even though I think it's a 50-50 fight. That way, if I lose, I will be like, yo, I made money though. So yeah, I'm
Hmm.
hedging that. And to be honest, I'd rather just lose the money because I really love Alex Pereira and I just want him to win so bad.
Yeah, man. I agree with a lot of your sentiment, and Yuri obviously has a calf kick problem, and you don't want to have that problem when you're fighting Alex Pereira. The only thing that like really they both get hit. They both get hit, and in the UFC, we've seen one of them get chinned, which is Alex Pereira, and Yuri hits really fucking hard, just like Alex Pereira. And I just have a feeling. I just have this like gut feeling that like Yuri was having some success in that first fight, touching Alex's chin, and I just have this. I don't know. I just think the short notice. Alex Pereira, he was planning to. He was going to fight Yuri in Australia, so it's a month or 2 months earlier.
And Alex's toes are still broken.
Exactly. So I'm kind of leaning Yuri Prohaska versus knockout via knockout. But in the same breath, like how can you bet against Alex Pereira, man? Like he's just on this fucking run that is it's nothing we've seen before, really. And he just looks so good. So I'm still kind of wall riding. I haven't really gotten off the fence, but right now, Thursday before the fight, I'm picking Yuri Prohaska via knockout.
I would also like to point out that I am 0-4 in picking Pereira's fights in my official betting history. I max bet Adesanya against him. I kind of thought Pereira was a little bit too much hype, and we saw how that went. And the next fight, I was like, "Damn, this guy's legit. I'm going to bet him this time." He gets knocked out, and I skipped the on fight. I was split down the middle on that one, and yeah, then I bet against him. I bet for Jamal Hill and Jiri in his last two. So
Yikes!
let's go.
You picked Jamal Hill to beat Alex Pereira.
Oh, yeah, it aged bad, dude. But I mean, the line was damn near even. A lot of people were picking him.
Yeah,
But
you're
yeah. So I'm betting Jerry, baby. Let's go, Alex.
Speaking of betting, what is this week's bet?
This week's bet, I'm going to go with Brian Ortega money line. He's an underdog. I think right now you can still get him at like plus 126 with Rain Bet, and I'll have that link in the description for you guys.
All right, yeah, man. So UFC 303, dude, International Fight Week. I hope you enjoy the fights. I hope we get an announcement this week that maybe they're rebooking Connor for a couple months. Wink, wink. And beyond that, I just want to thank RainBet for allowing this to happen, man. Thank you all for listening. And Superfan, you got any last words?
No. See you bitches at UFC 303. Peace out.